Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, August 27th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market stays still an uptrend. If we look at the trend gauge over here on the right side of the screen, still have the four coveted green arrows. Market leaders in grow mode, short term above the 21 EMA, medium term above the 50-day moving average as well. And through this consolidation, have worked off some overbought as well. So that's good to see. Gives the market more legs to move higher, and then long term, still above the 200-day moving average as well. What happened today? Well, S&P put in a new all-time high, and then Nvda reported earnings today, and then the next big item is PCE on Friday. Here are the fun numbers: 21 over 21 list down 1.22%, 7 green, 2 neutral, 12 red. Turbo 12 down 1.65%, 3 green, 9 red. And then 60/40 stock and bond virtually flat on the day, up 0.05%. GROTECTION flat on the day, down 0.12%. And then TurboTection pretty flat as well, down 0.05% on the day. Let's get into the inter-asset correlation. And we'll start with chart SP 500. And as you can see, new highs again today and acting pretty well, right? We had 5 days down into the 21 EMA, had a strong reaction on Jackson Hole on Friday and getting back above Friday's high. So 6,500 is the next big psychological level to watch out for. And then on pullbacks, again, still watching the 8 and the 21 EMA. Take a look at the weekly charts, continue to ride higher, grinding above that 10-week moving average, and talking about extensions. Only 1.2% above the 21 EMA and only 2.9% above the 50-day moving average. So again, to me, if the market wants to move higher, has more legs as it's not operating from a super extended spot. RSP equal weight again looks really good. Start trying to come out of this huge base, going back to, these are 2024 highs. So, you know, almost a year of nothing. So this is a big base. Big bases can lead to strong moves, and if this continues to hold above that 188.16 pivot, see no reason why this can't continue to trend higher and further broaden the market. Qs look good. Nvidia is roughly flat on earnings. Last time I checked within the implied, but again, this is a nice setup here. Got a downtrend line here from the highs, trying to get back through. Very tight. So we'll see if some money can start flowing back into tech. Mag 7 again looking good. Dow Jones, another one similar to, RSP, breaking out of a really, really nice base. And again, another, weighing the evidence, the Dow coming out of a nice base furthers the thesis for broader participation, and it's doing exactly that. Mid caps, similar to Rust 2000, continuing higher out of this base, getting back above that Friday's highs. Rust 2000 continuing the relative strength after that strong day in Jackson Hole, nicely above Friday's highs, 2400s, next level to watch. And look at this monthly chart. We're talking this is still below 2021 highs. So if we see this index get back above 2021 highs, and again these previous all-time highs at 2466, this could have a really nice move. And you see this weekly, Rust 2000 has been lagging for years, so maybe we're starting to see this change. Arc, like triple inside day almost. Pretty clear downtrend line here from the highs, setting up really nicely for a move. FFTY, again, leaders consolidating quite nicely, holding above this 34.26 pivot and right under, got a pretty clean level here. The VIX just flat on the day, still below 15. The dollar continues to look quite weak. Gold's been strong lately, and this is kind of in a wedge again. Um, Going with the direction of the trend, this looks like it's going to break down. Potentially, the dollar's been extremely weak. And GLD, this is looking like it may want to break out from this base. GDX has been much stronger. Some of these gold stocks I think off the top of my head, like KGC's one, breaking out. These are a little bit lower priced, but the gold mining stocks have been super strong. I want to say AEM's another one again at the highs. So gold miners acting really well. And if you look, at the monthly, this still has room back to the highs going back to 2011. Silver setting up as well, looking nice with gold. Bitcoin trying to undercut and reclaim 50-day moving average along with the 6370 previous breakout level. Bonds looking really nice base here as well. TLT getting super tight. We were talking about this on our morning call today. This uh, getting long bonds would be contrarian trade here. And technical wise, this is certainly very tight. You got a power three, 821, and the 50-day all stacked up. Been building higher lows but lower highs. So see if it can crack this downtrend line from the highs and maybe bonds start to rally, and that would coincide with rates breaking lower as well. All right, that's the interest correlation. Let's take a look at the tape. And we will start, let's see, starting from the top. Percent of stocks by the 5-day moving average, no clear signal, just kind of in middle ground. So can't really argue with that. News-wise, Nvidia earnings happened today. I will cover that when I get into the charts. And then the big one Friday is the PCE inflation report. And depending on how that data comes, that could sway the probabilities for a rate cut in September. So we'll see how the market digests that news. Today's keys, S&P versus the 21 and back above that 6481 level. Q is above the 21 EMA, still below that 575 level. That's a good level if the Qs can take out that 575, could see some further upside. And then Russ 2000 holding above the 8 EMA, seeing how it acts once it gets into that 2400 level. Going into tomorrow, same keys for the Qs and the Russ 2000, and then S&P, the 8 EMA, and that 6500 psychological level. 4 days above the 8 EMA, 16 days above the 21 EMA. Sectors wise, REMX, this is the rare earth metals ETF. GROTECTION and TurboTection both own a position in MP, and that was strong again today. The sector's been super strong. A lot of catalysts. Oil, retail, Bitcoin, regional banks, and biotech all up on the day. Weakness, China, uranium, airlines, builders pulling back a little bit today. The ATR, the S&P 500 is now at 0.94%. So a little bit, little inching up a little bit. GROTECTION today, no changes. 1.31 beta, 5.69% balance at risk. TurboTection, we sold BMNR 2.03 beta, 5.95% balance at risk. Bottom line, S&P new all-time high. Will Nvidia bring rotation back into tech? Let's get into some charts of interest. So I'll chart the only trade of TurboTaction and BMNR. Stopped out of this one. This is basically a levered bet on Ethereum, which has been the leading crypto. You have Peter Thiel, you have Stanley Druckenmiller, you have Tom Lee. So a lot of big names were backing this, and we were buying this off the 21-day low risk, and you can see it just kind of broke this range to the downside. So we cut that. Very volatile name and just hadn't been doing what it should be doing with Ethereum. It was underperforming Ethereum on the way up and going down more than Ethereum. So potentially revisit this name in the future, but out of it for now. All right. Oh, I did. I'll show that rare earth ETF too. REMX, and look at this beautiful trend. Another new high today. An MP biggest weighting. Own this in both portfolios. This is potentially setting up for another move higher. All right, let's start with 21 over 21 list from best to worst. And top of the list, MP looking really good in this wedge. See if this can break out. Credo, this is down a little bit on Nvidia, down 1.5%. But again, 5 days up in a row, coming into this 128 level. This has been super strong. BE, super strong. This is owned in TurboTection and another new high today, and this one still has 21% short interest. So really, really bullish on this idea. Complete turnaround, turning profitable. You have triple digit EPS, solid sales growth, right theme, right sector. partnership with Oracle. So we'll see. 10-year, it's just now living above 2018 highs. So uh, getting a little bit extended here, but again, we'll see if it can continue. I mean, this is just skyscrapers of blue bars, and look at all the accumulation in this move up, and the relative strength line. It just really tells you everything you need to know. STX, really nice action, continuing higher. And I'm going to mention another, actually, while we're at STX, this is in the computer data storage sector, and it's been super strong. And PSTG, this is Pure Storage. This one's up 15% at about $70, so gapping up into here. And this is also in the computer data storage. Really like this weekly chart, huge base in the same sector. So perhaps this earnings report, this can play some catch up into WDC and STX. And on their report, they beat by 4 cents, beat on revenues, guided Q3 revs above consensus, and raised fiscal year 2026 revenues above consensus. Um, uh, Issued upside guidance for Q3, sees Q3 revenues of 950 to 960 million versus 913 consensus, and then issued upside guidance for FY26, sees FY26 revs of 3.6 billion versus 3.52 billion consensus, and prior guidance of 3.5 billion. So this one's on watch for an earnings gapper. I've been following this name for a while, just had no relative strength, so maybe earnings fuels this one. So good reaction there. ALAB down a little bit after hours on Nvda as well, but this chart looks phenomenal. Soaking up the high volume close, uh, letting that 21-day catch up, holding gap days lows, got a trend line down here. So this is owned in TurboTection. Triple digit EPS, triple digit sales last couple quarters. So this one looks really good. Price action and from a fundamental view. Celsius pulling back a little bit to the 8. Super strong push after earnings. APH has been super strong, just consolidating at the highs here. Nvidia, so down about 2% today, right now after hours on earnings, which to me, that's fine. I mean, the implied move was 7%. So to see this roughly flat is totally fine for the market. Honestly, better than a big gap up, to be honest. And taking a look at some of their earnings, let's see, data center segment revenue grew 56% year over year and 5% sequentially to 41.1 billion. Blackwell data center revenue grew 17% sequentially. Um, and they issued some inline guidance. And yeah, from first look, haven't taken a deep look, is prepping for the video here, and I believe the conference call is going on right now. So, but from price action perspective, nothing wrong with this action, especially given the move it's had from the lows. So we'll see how it trades tomorrow. But for now, just kind of looking like an options crush here in within the implied move. GDX covered this. Strong action continued higher. Arista Networks flagging here after these earnings, watching this gap day lows, see some volume come through. Uber, really nice base. See if this can get moving soon. Carvana, just consolidating in this base. APP, super strong. Move off this 21-day undercut reclaim, 4 days up in a row. Perhaps this consolidates a little bit. SoFi, leader, on watch for pullbacks. First Solar never falls through, does it? Solar, it had a strong 2 day push and then giving over 50% of that back. But some of the other solar names like NXT, this one looks a lot better, flagging at the highs. I would say that's the leader. Sedge looks better too, double inside day. Sedge is like the turnaround play, super high short interest, and then the TAN ETF still looks good as well. C Limited acting pretty well post earnings, just pulling back a little bit today. Futu pulling back today as well. Reddit really harsh. A lot of people watching this today had a couple tight days against the 21, and you can see just shot right up off the open and then came hard back. And one thing you'll see is, sometimes I've noticed something I try to improve on is sometimes it's better to wait, 15, 30 minutes before making the decision because a lot of times you'll see these things just pop right hard off the open only to give it back. Now, obviously, that's not always the case. Sometimes opening range breakouts on the intraday chart can work great, but they sometimes can be more failure prone. So sometimes waiting 15, 30 minutes to assess the action. Is there real volume there? It can be better. But I don't think there's anything wrong with this chart, just flagging. Maybe I like how the 10 weeks catching up. So even if this pulled back into the 10-week moving average, that'd be an opportunity. Tempest AI was watching this pullback against the 75 level, kind of giving it up a little bit today. But again, looks fine. Had a super strong move up here off the 200 day and coming back into the 21. So that's a level of interest. And if you've seen the stock, it's notorious for punishing people buying strength. Imagine if you're buying here over 80, now it's back to 73. Rocket just consolidating. As long as 21-day holds, looks fine. And then Robinhood, some weakness, but potentially just starting to form a new base. Nothing wrong with that. Still holding above the 50 days, still holding above that 100 level, and sitting right at the 10-week moving average for now. So those are some levels to watch heading into the rest of the week. All right, that's 21 over 21 list. Turbo 12 Sedge double inside day flagging here. This one looks pretty good. Lemonade pulling back to the 21 day and flagging post strong run on earnings. Unity has been really strong lately, continuing higher out of this base. Nice chart here. Kratos Defense flagging at the highs here. AMSC, another one flagging, reclaim this gap day's lows. And this one's got, triple digit earnings and really nice sales growth. And this one has shown nice relative strength and nice consolidation flag pattern here. NVIS, again, still building out here, might just chop around in this range a little bit more before trying to break out. METC, another one that's been strong, got a nice consolidation flag pattern up here. Irene been choppy, but continuing higher. Bull kind of breaking down a little bit today. Rocket Lab just pulling back after a strong 3-day push. Tempest AI covered that, and then BMNR breaking the 21. Got stopped out of this in TurboTection today. And let's see if Nvda is still roughly flat. Guess Jensen must not be saying anything crazy on the conference call for now, but we'll watch some of the sympathy plays as well into tomorrow, like ALAB, Credo, CoreWeave, NBIS, some of the power names. So that will be a good tell. But all in all, indexes are looking good. S&P new high today, 6,500. That's next level to watch out. Most leaders are acting well. If they're down, they're just kind of pulling back after a 3, 4 day strong push. And got Nvidia earnings out of the way, flat for now, which is a win to me. And then next thing to watch out for is the PCE report on Friday. One thing to note is seasonality in September is historically weak, but it more so comes in the middle of September. And market typically tends to run into the early parts of September. So it's, as always, it's a secondary indicator, just like the NAM indicator as well, but we keep an eye on it. So with that, that is everything I got for today. Um, as always, feel free to reach out to me on at Connor@revereasset.com or Dan or Don at revereasset.com. And you can always reach out to me on Twitter at ConnorJBates_. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. We're accepting new clients for the GROTECTION and TurboTection portfolio. So if that is something you're interested in, reach out. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, comment, and thank you guys for all watching and have a great evening.